Welcome. Here at Eden, we count our wealth in memories. Eden is a philosophy to be wonderfully naive, to see the world through new eyes. Break free, travel without limits.
Get in the car. Hey, brother.
Hey, mate.
How you going, buddy?
Hey, fucking been waiting for you.
No, I'm a busy man. Who's this dude?
Alright, where?
Some fucking cop
I don't see anyone looks like a cop.
next to the Mercedes.
Yeah, every cunt looks sus around here, man.
Check this shit out. I've only got 3 left,
Yeah.
but this is the fucking shit. Have a look at this. Have a smell.
Fuck, man. It's weird, fucking
Pink shit.
pink. Yeah, it's fucking pink as. I've never seen it.
Israeli.
Yeah,
Came
look, I
through
can
for you.
only get...
Came through
Yeah,
for you.
you did. You always do. You always fucking do. Alright, look. Let me just get this one. I'd fucking love to get those other 2 at the same time, but let me just get this one.
What about the other 500 going?
Thursday, man. I'll have it for you.
Today.
I can't fucking get it today.
I want my fucking money. Come on. Fucking owed me for ages, cunt.
Fucking settle down, man. Look,
No,
I have this for you.
I'm not going to fucking settle down. You owe me
come on,
$500
mate.
fucking dollars.
Give me another
Who else
fucking
would
week.
give you? Who else would give you fucking $500 credit? Hey,
Yeah, you've been good, right? You've been good. I've been good to you too. I've always fucking. How it? Oh, fuck off,
fucking
man.
drugs back.
Fuck
Dickhead.
off.
Give that back to me. Hey, fucking let go of it. Let fucking go of it. Get the fuck out of the fucking car. Get out of the fucking car.
Give me that fucking shit, man.
Hey, fucking.
Immerse yourself in your true self. A world where you choose your reality. Bathe in a blue lagoon. Break free, trust your impulses, and live with your eyes open. Immerse yourself in your true self. Welcome to Eden.
But I know what'll make you feel better.
Oh, no, not another box of dogs!
It's another box of dogs!
Well, howdy, folks. It is indeed another box of dogs. And I'm just here to tell you, if you're seeing this stream, it means I'm dead. Or drunk. Probably drunk, actually. That would be the safer bet. Well, it was April Fool's again. I slept through it. You got to do them before midday, don't you? I think I slept till about midday on the 1st because it was my brother's birthday the previous day, the dead one. So we had a bit of some celebrations and memorials and stuff like that. Anyway, in other news, we have some Daniel Andrews news, some interesting news from the world of Daniel Andrews. Apparently, he's I need to wait till I start swearing. And I'm trying not to swear as well, but let's see how we go. Talking about Daniel Andrews makes it hard. So apparently old Dan bought a property up in, I think it's actually in Victoria somewhere. Rural Victoria. But, reminds me of that film from Nirvana. Dan the man is back. Hey Dan, how's country life, mate? Yeah, so Dan, you bought a property in country Victoria, and then you got builders to come out and give you a quote on to build you a property. The builder that came out said, I'm not building for you, and I'm telling every other builder in a 200-kilometer radius not to touch this job. So he can't get anyone to build on his property. He went to the local pub, and had a meal with some friends. At the end of the night, the guy refused to take his money and told him never to come back there. They all remember what you did, Dan. Mate, what are you doing? How are you, how are you, I think you need to move overseas, bro. Just get it out of the way. Just get out of here. No one's forgetting. Anyway, that little film at the start there, that was a thing I did a few years ago called Eden. I also did the music for it, or like 80% of the music for it. It was good fun. I sort of play that at the start. Anyway, in other news, I am planning a trip around the world. I don't know when exactly it's going to be, but in the next few years, I want to travel the world. There's people I want to see, and people I know live all over the world. So I want to go to America, Paris, Thailand. I want to go to Israel, Palestine, if it's still there. A bunch of places I want to go, but I want to go to England. A couple of people I want to see in England. And I know, as a Christian, it is risky to go to a Muslim country like that, but hey, the good news is that they're banning ninja swords now. Because, you know, Muslims, ninjas, makes sense. The big news coming out of England is that Keir Starmer, the Grand Dragon of England, is tackling knife crime by banning ninja swords. Because we all know what a huge problem England has with ninjas. The number one problem coming out of England right now is the non-stop ninjas throwing Death Stars at people. And raping. You know how ninjas are with raping. They love a bit of raping. So it's like they're known for clandestine rape, dropping out of the trees, rape, and disappear by anyone sees them, before anyone sees them. My question is, how will Ninja Turtles defend themselves? Remember when the Jews were caught with the tunnels in New York, and there was that, the really bad optics of the guy coming out of the sewer grate? The Jewish, which is the worst fucking optics for the Jews. But anyway, that just made me realize that the Ninja Turtles were Jewish, which explains why they were all obsessed with that white news reader. But this is the result of Ronan's Law. This is what kills me. This, life just hands you these gags. Get Ronan's Law, banning ninja swords in England. That totally makes sense. Anyway, because it's lone samurais using ninja swords. That's the biggest problem they have. Anyway, this may be the worst case of cultural appropriation since people in Africa started using indoor plumbing. I don't know, I find it weird that so-called intelligent people are running things and these are the solutions they come up with. Do they understand that the knives aren't the real problem? You could ban all the knives in England. The next day the headline would be about someone getting sporked to death. Or someone had a spoon shoved up their asshole. Pretty soon you're back to eating with your hands because cutlery is outlawed. Because a bunch of non-racially specific kids didn't go to finishing school. And they don't understand which knife to use when slaughtering a Western pig. But of course they do understand that knives aren't the real issue. This is just their devious way of disarming an entire population. Because it's always one retard that ruins it for everybody. And because government is basically a Karen with the overreach of the Nephilim, everybody suffers. One kid loses... What's that song? What's that song? Welcome to... 1984 has passed. Forget about Big Brother. Welcome to the 90s where the government's your mother. Oh, I'm saving, Dan. I'm saving. I know you. Why don't you donate some money to me, Dan? You must have made a killing. Anyway, one kid loses an eye playing with firecrackers and we're all punished. No, don't take it away from us. Just don't give fireworks to retards. In fact, you can put a warning on the box. Do not play with these if you're a fucking retard. Anyway. The ban on ninja swords is part of Ronan's Law, named after a kid who was apparently a lone wolf samurai in England, home of samurais and lone wolf fucking ninjas. Meanwhile, Japan has more ninja swords per capita than anywhere in the world, but there's no ban on the swords. Maybe the swords aren't the problem. Yeah, we're going to keep right on importing human scum for the worst places in the world. But don't worry, we're only giving them sporks. What a weird time to be alive, huh? What a weird, weird time to be alive. You know, Trump recently outlawed men in women's sports, which all but guaranteed that no one would watch. But I feel for all the trannies out there going, geez, I cut my dick off for this. I've always admired the level of commitment it takes to want to beat up a woman so bad that you're willing to chop your own cock off. And for purely comedic effect, chopping off your pecker really is the definition of commitment to the bit. I myself strive to maintain a certain level of integrity in my comedy. Murdered by paper straws and cling wrap. Yeah, right. The paper straw and cling wrap murder is at it again. No, but I try to maintain a certain level of integrity in my comedy. I will usually observe that old maxim about truth in comedy. How the truth is always funnier and stranger than fiction. So I stick to observing truth in comedy always. Now, while this does preclude me from doing jokes about having a small penis, it's a small price to pay. But unfortunately, once you take the money and sign that big fat contract, you can pretty much forget about truth because the money dictates the truth. Now, I will never sell out. I've said this before. I will never sell out, right? Unless it's for money. But other than that, I feel like the truth is its own reward. And as a man with a large penis, I feel it's my moral duty to be shining light unto the world, blessed as I am. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Length is fine, but what about girth? I can't believe I wrote this. Anyway. Well, in that regard, I am doubly blessed, and therefore I take my work very seriously. When I consider the fact that, having blessed me with this massive hog, God clearly loves me, and I feel like I was put on this earth to do two things. And that's tell the truth and satisfy women. Fucking hell. But regarding the trannies in sport, I feel it's too late. I'll tell you this, if you don't let men compete in women's sports, it'll be a long time until we hear of another woman breaking a world record, since nearly all the world records are now held by men. And how will they ever get any good if they don't have men to show them how it's done? Who was Woman of the Year in 2015? A man. And these bitches still haven't figured out that sometimes they just need to shut the fuck up. Honestly, I'm very disappointed in Caitlyn Jenner. That dude had the perfect opportunity to be on the cover of a magazine making a fucking sandwich, and he let us all down. And another thing. Why is it that only trans women are concerned with getting misgendered? Why is it that if you call a dude who used to be a dude, they lose their shit? Meanwhile, I see all these videos of young guys calling their girlfriends bro. What kind of gay shit is that? Seriously, what the fuck is that? Why are people, what, like, long and thin gets it in, short and thick does the trick. That's true. That's that old rhyming thing. The motion of the ocean, it's not the size of the little lies, it's the motion of the ocean. I don't feel sorry. Fucking Norm Macdonald had a great bit he did about he's like, it's these guys with massive cocks that I feel sorry for. Fuck, that was one of his best bits. Oh dear. I'm trying this thing where I'm writing some stuff beforehand. I have got some other stuff to get to as well, like some stuff that I'll just go back to the improvised stuff. I think I kind of prefer just doing the improvised stuff. I don't know. Maybe I can find a nice balance between this. Anyway. But what is that? Why are guys like calling their girlfriends bro? Like I see it constantly, and they're like talking to their girlfriend. That guy's one of the most annoying pricks on the internet. His girlfriend leaves him. He's chasing after her, going, "Why are you doing this to me, bro?" It's very weird. You know how pink used to be a boy's color and blue was for girls, and then one day they just flipped it? Is that what's going on? Is the future going to be people going, "Will you marry me, bro?" I mean, anything to confuse people, right? Yeah, I love my wife. She's like a brother to me. I don't know. Weird times. Yeah, I met this blind girl a while ago and we went on a few dates, but after a while she goes, "Hey, I don't think this is going to work out." I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "Well, you just seem like a brother to me." I had to say to her, "Listen, I assure you I'm white, you fucking racist." I guess it was my enormous love dart that confused her. Anyway, the house is on fire. When will people wake up? I don't know. The whole thing about when will people wake up, I find that kind of funny. I mean, I've said those very words myself, but it is kind of funny because it's like people needed to wake up like 60 years ago. It's kind of 60 years too late. But anyway. But really all you can do is laugh. When will people wake up? The house is on fire. People need to wake up. Yeah, 50 or 60 years ago, if people had woken up, we might have had a chance. But people didn't want to wake up because, you know, they'd only just gone to sleep. If you ever slept too long and your dreams become nightmares, well, that's what's happened. That's what's happening now. Like, everyone's just been asleep too long and the dream has become a nightmare. Life was tough. Life was hard. The house was always cold. You had to work to make it warm, and it was beautiful. So someone set a fire in the kitchen. Everyone was like, "Oh, now it's warm." Then the fire spread to the rest of the house, but everyone was asleep. I gotta say, I admire the way they did it. They said, "Hey, do you want easy sex and lots of money? Cheap houses?" And they said, "Fuck yeah, we do." And that was them setting fire to the world. And that fire has been ravaging the house for 60 years now. Now no one can afford a house. Men and women hate each other. Men and women are just out there fucking... Have I woken up? Bruh. Oh, Dan. God bless you, Dan. I've actually gone back to sleep. I pulled a cipher. I just had them put me back in the Matrix. I didn't do a very good deal, though. I was like, make me a, like, really low-end podcaster that, you know, doesn't really have time to do this, but does it anyway. Just gets on here and talks shit. Yeah. Anyway, so you go out there and you wake up as many people as you want. It's not going to make a lick of difference at this point. Things are so bad now that people are listening to Klaus Schwab like he's got good ideas. Like, you know, they're like, yeah, things are bad, but Darth Vader over there's got some good ideas. Something about a Death Star. I got to say, a Death Star, it's not a bad idea. Because the house is gone. It's burned, baby. There's no point grabbing the hose now. There's nothing left. All we can do is clear out the lot. Clear the burnout lot and rebuild something new. If we're going to rebuild, we have to go back to the system that works. Not a lot of people are keen to do that. I mean, does anybody really want to go back to no premarital sex and absolute monogamy and Because that's what it's going to take. But no, I like getting my PP touched. This is why a lot of guys are saying that sex is gay now. There's a whole movement. Like even sex with women is considered gay now by these guys, because these are the people that you know, like Nick Fuentes, Andrew Tate, you know, real stand-up citizens. Like Tate's a miracle. But no, the whole point is that we've overemphasized sex, and I've been saying that for a long time. I'm going to discuss that with E. Michael a couple of times. But anyway, I haven't said it's, you know, anyway, what was I up to? Even sex with women is gay, and they're right, really. I haven't said it's gay, but I said for a long time that the way sex is the most important thing to people now is completely retarded. It's like if food has become the fucking Bangkok, Dan. Is that where you're going? I would say that's a good call for you, bro. A lot of Australians there, though, so watch out. Yeah, I mean, if you look at architecture, you can see how we've gone from men building great works of art to men failing to build the most basic structures because they want to rush home to look at boobs on the internet. And hey, who doesn't want to look at boobs on the internet? People demand that everybody knows their preferred gender and pronouns just in case someone might want to fuck. It's infantile and stupid. You look back through history at all the great civilizations and you wonder what made them fall, and it's like, I'm not sure, but they were all doing a lot of fucking at the time. Oh, and they brought in foreign invaders, just invited them in because they might want to fuck too. Our peepees will be the downfall of our civilization. Death by dick. That's what will go down in history. Western civilization developed a unhealthy fascination with Bob's vagine and peepees. And it was the end. What's my pronouns? Well, my professional nouns. Sir, King of the World, Grand Dragon, and Heil Hitler. Those are my pronouns. Yeah. I thought they'd come and touch their PP. Yeah, our PPs will be the death of us. That's what it should say on our tombstone. Here lies Western civilization dicked to death at their own hands. We're literally bringing in foreigners to rape our girls and lock up anyone who talks about it. I'm telling you, there has to be a war. There's gonna be a war. And just watch the feminists abandon ship as rape becomes mainstream and commonplace as well. God damn. It's like, it really is what the world is becoming, a video game zombie rape fantasy, I think. I think that's what we're headed for. World War III is well underway. We're getting World War III going. That'll be pretty cool. Does anyone remember the Cronulla riots? You guys remember the Cronulla riots? You know what kicked them off? The story is fascinating because the story that went around the world, like went everywhere, was that the Cronulla riots happened because Australians are racists. War is in the air, everywhere I look around. War is in the air. The Cronulla riots were like a bunch of these imports were just like attacking white women attacking white people in general, just making a menace of themselves. They would own the beach. They would take over the beach. And they would just fucking say, this is our beach now, bitch, and you're not allowed on it. And anyone that stepped on their little patch got their asses kicked. And then one day they were on their little patch of beach and they started fucking with a couple of girls, or 2 or 3 girls. And a lifeguard went over there to get them away from the girls and stop them harassing the girls. And one of these little fuckers came up from behind them and just fucking king hit him. Oh no, it's coward punched him now. Coward punched him. King hit him. Knocked him on his ass. And white people said, well, we've had enough. You know? Called up all their mates and just went, fuck this. Let's go. Let's fucking go. And they went. And that's what kicked off the Cronulla riots. But we're told that's because we're racist. And it's the same thing that happened with the Crusades. We're always told that it's because, you know, oh, Christians are racist. Christians were just crazy. But it was actually 700 years of Muslim invasion that kicked off the fucking... Anyway. I've talked about that before, I think. But look, there are actually some really serious issues in the world, you know? Like, I know we're all freaked out by the Israel-Palestine thing and the Ukraine war and basically being on the verge of World War III. I know that's really worrying us, but while that nightmare is going on, something even more tragic has happened. Hooters has filed for bankruptcy. You know, because people didn't support them. Right? You fucking... How does a business fail whose business model is tits and chicken wings? Seems impossible. But to me, this is a clear sign of the apocalypse. I mean, what kind of world are we living in here where hot chicks with huge tits can't bring me oversaturated wings? Not a world I want to live in. Personally, I think Donald Trump needs to step in here and bail them out. You did it with the banks. You bailed out the banks. It's why the American people elected you, Donald. I assume that's what he was meeting with Kid Rock about. Speaking of Kid Rock. Now that's how you dress when you're going to the White House.
By the time you check out, it's 107.
Look.
I want to make sure Lena
Take notes, Zelensky.
She worked very hard on this, but thank you for making this happen so quick. Anyone who's bought a concert ticket in the last decade, maybe 20 years, no matter what your politics are, knows that it's a conundrum. You buy a ticket for $100.
I think Kid Rock actually needs to be Donald Trump's fashion advisor. Like, if Donald Trump turned up to work like this,
and then they're relisted immediately for sometimes a 400% or 500% markup.
Anyway, that is El Fashion Grande. A lot of people are out of all the American franchises, Australia needed Hooters. That's right. There was a Hooters in Thailand and it went under. I mean, what kind of fucking future is this when Hooters can't survive? How bad is the economy when Hooters goes bankrupt? It's disgusting, and I won't have it. Anyway. A lot of people on Twitter are going, I don't want to hear you fucking... When Kid Rock turns up to the White House and he's dressed like that, and you cunts have been complaining about how Zelensky dressed and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, well, you know, Kid Rock didn't get $100 billion trillion dollars to start World War III. So I think it's a slightly different fucking situation there. Anyway. Yeah, Donald Trump is having meetings with Kid Rock, who turned up dressed like an even gayer version of the American flag. Anyway. But that is how you dress when you go to meet a reality star president in the fucking Oval Office. You people aren't patriots. That's the problem. It's ridiculous. Alright. What else have we got here? Alright, this was a bit of fun. I had a bit of fun on this. Twitter's fun sometimes. So this person posted, turns out strange women lying in ponds distributing swords was a better basis for a system of government, actually. Nice little reference there to the Holy Grail. Monty Python, the Holy Grail. So I responded, listen, if I went round saying I was an emperor, just because some moistened bint lobbed a scimitar at me, they'd put me away. Someone said, cheers for getting bint right. I've seen responses quoting Bing or Bink instead of bint. It was driving me crazy. The world is full of savages. But this is fun. This is like, you go through the comments, it's just like there's people that like know that this is a joke, that it's the reference to Monty Python. And some people, the ones that are really fun are the ones who take it really seriously. Like, you seriously think that this is? But there's some great, it's just objective truth that the best form of governance is a benevolent dictator, and the worst form of governance is democracy. I've always said a benevolent, I will be your benevolent dictator. All right? I think it's the best way. I think it's what we need to do. All right? Listen, strange women lying around in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. Supreme executive power derives from a mandate from the masses, not from some farcical aquatic ceremony. So Dennis got it wrong. You can't expect to wield supreme power just because some watery tart threw a sword at you. Listen, strange woman lying around in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. Oh man, that's fun. Hey Sandy, how you doing? Finished work for the day. It's good to see. You guys heard of Project Looking Glass? I imagine you've all heard of Project Looking Glasses. It's kind of, let's see what these guys got to say. It's kind of cool. I've been doing the, they took the whole series of tapes off, but I've been doing the Gateway thing. I'll have to get them off, Tommy said he's got them. I'll find them and download them from somewhere, but the Gateway experience thing, those tapes.
Yesterday and today is the very first public unveiling in a public presentation of Project Looking Glass. A human being is about this tall. This is built in underground bases. It is colossal in size. And what happens is when you fire this thing up, these rings start going in all different directions. It shields off the barrel of water inside, which is just like your pineal gland. The water inside flips over into time-space, which then captures argon gas, captures visual images, and this is what it looks like. It becomes huge, glowing, all the way out to these posts, which are used as stabilizers for the energy field.
I'll tell you what, I want to get one of these. I will be the most successful day trader in the history of day trading, or trading at all. I think if I had one of these little fuckers, I think it would take me about a year to have all the money in the world. I would just redistribute it.
Now,
so if you can all chip in to buy me one of these, that'd be grouse.
it doesn't start out with an image of the Earth. That's just there as a placeholder, although you could see the whole Earth like that if you wanted to. That's not usually what happens.
The whole idea of Project Looking Glass is supposed to be able to see into the future and the past and whatnot.
Well, contact, right? We have been given the technology right in front of our faces in the movies. They just don't tell you what it's for.
Yeah. They keep doing that with the movies. They show us what's really going on in the movies. Snow White.
In what?
Ah, fucking hell.
13.
Have you heard of Hollywood accounting? You know, Hollywood accounting is basically when, like, you don't want to pay your actors, so you tell your actors and your creators and, like, everyone that works on the film, basically, you say, you know, we'll give you a few $1,000s for the, you know, we'll cover your costs and whatever, but we'll pay you in points. So we'll pay you out of the profits, and this movie's going to be huge. So, you know, you'll get, like, millions. I can't remember the name of the guy. Warren Beatty was the last one to really do it successfully. And it's where they pay you out of the profits for the film. And so Hollywood accounting is where they tank the movie. So it gets released, and then it comes out saying this movie, it cost $250 million to make, but it only made $100 million at the box office. I think that's what they're doing with Snow White. I think Disney have worked out like a what's the Mel Brooks thing, the producers, where they basically work out that they can make more money with a flop than they can with a hit. So they get the most hateable person on the planet, Rachel Zegler, to play Snow White. A black girl playing Snow White.
Ghosts? Well, thank you. I'll have to check that one out.
It should have been called Coal Black.
Doesn't sound like a movie I'd want to see, but if it's for that, oh, I can imagine. So, Contact, just to recap from yesterday, blueprints come in from the Vegans from Vega. They figured...
Oh, what was it? I was listening to something about new technologies coming from... Oh, yeah, the Aeon of Horus, which was... Aleister Crowley was a big part of bringing about the Aeon of Horus, which is apparently what we're in now. And the Aeon of Horus is... because this was the problem with the Nazis. You know, not to blemish the good name of Hitler. Not to blemish Hitler's good name here. But they apparently they were very into the occult and whatnot. And they really went hard with all that occult stuff, and that's where they got a lot of their technology from, and it's why they made such good shit, like the tanks they built, because it was like supposedly like it was like alien technology that they were dragging in from the universe. And apparently these aliens really know how to build a car. German cars are still fucking great. To watch more about Project Looking Glass. I don't know. It's kind of...
Figure out that it's only when you fold up these patterns into a cube, which forms what there in the center, the triangle with the eye in the middle, as it folds up.
The Eye of Horus.
Cube geometry. That's when you can decode the plans to build these rings, which becomes this machine. And there's your little helicopter. So there's another shot of it. They got computer animations of how it's going to work with the different rings moving. This actually looks like the fisheye lens distortion effect that happens around the looking glass when you power it on. There's a gantry crane up at the top, and the little guy is dropped down and goes inside. That's like your barrel inside the mechanism there. And this is where all the action happens. This is where the Stargate opens, the wormhole into the higher realms. In this frame, we're seeing how the whole thing collapsed and fell apart.
And then she meets her dad. This is how you meet your dad, apparently. Space Nazis aren't real. I don't know, man. Space Jews are real. So I think space Nazis, it follows that space Nazis must be real, because space Jews are real. Jews clearly come from space. I mean, it's obvious. They never had a place to live. Where do they come from? Jupiter. Obviously. I got quite a few stories up. It's impossible to get away from all the anti-Semitism, you know? Anti-Semitism these days is running rampant. It's everywhere. And I think it's disgusting. You know? I would never say, in connection with the Jewish question, I have this to say. It is a shameful spectacle to see how the whole democratic world is oozing sympathy for the poor, tormented Jewish people, but remains hard-hearted and obdurate when it comes to helping them, which is surely, in view of its attitude, an obvious duty. The arguments that are brought up as an excuse for not helping them actually speaks for us Germans and Italians. I would never say such a thing. I would never go on to say, for this we say, 1, we are the democracies, are not in a, we, that is the democracies, are not in a position to take the Jews. Yet these empires that are not 10 people to the square kilometre, while Germany, with her 135 inhabitants to the square kilometre, is supposed to have room for them. 2, they assure us, we cannot take them unless Germany is prepared to allow them a certain amount of capital to bring with them as immigrants. Now, I don't know who said that. Some guy. Oh, man. Ah, it's crazy. The times we live in are nuts. This is the Israel bonds update, Pennsylvania. So I've posted several times. This is the
response to those campus protests we saw this spring. The state I live in is about to pass the Stand With Israel Act, and the story behind this bill is shocking. So I'm going to tell you what this bill does, and then I'll tell you what I learned about this bill. The Stand With Israel Act does 2 things. The first is take away state funding from any college or university who divest themselves from Israel. The politicians sponsoring this bill label these divestments as anti-Semitic. They also say that this bill is a response to those campus protests we saw this spring. Now, the second thing this bill does is take away the power of our state treasurer to divest the treasury or our pension funds from Israel. And when I was researching this a few weeks ago, I thought that was very odd because I'm a Pennsylvanian and the PA state treasurer is a woman named Stacey Garrity. And last fall, she took $20 million of state funding and used it to buy Israeli bonds in support for Israel. Pennsylvania now holds over $56 million in Israeli bonds. And I know that Stacey Garrity is never going to divest Pennsylvania anytime soon, so I knew there must be another reason why this bill would target the treasurer. And I was right. Stacey Garrity is up for re-election this fall. She's a Republican, and the Democrat who's running against her is a woman named Erin McClelland, who criticized Stacey Garrity for investing in Israel. Erin was able to win the Democratic nomination despite opposition because of her views. And so the pro-Israel machine had to act. They had to make sure that this wouldn't happen, because if Erin McClelland won treasurer and they didn't do anything about it, then she might divest from Israel. And Israel would for sure not be getting any more of Pennsylvania's money. And so they took away the treasurer's power to divest the state from Israel. When Stacey Garrity, the current PA treasurer, bought the $20 million in Israeli bonds, she made this tweet. When Putin invaded Ukraine, I ended all investments in Russia. In the face of Hamas's horrific attack on Israeli civilians, I purchased $20 million in Israeli bonds. Our moral clarity speaks volumes. Garrity also sold off all of the state's investments in China the other year because of human rights violations. And now that the International Court of Justice ruled that Israel's committing apartheid in the West Bank, I wonder if Stacey Garrity will also divest herself from Israel, because she has such moral clarity. She says that she divested from Russia, she divested from China for human rights violations. I wonder if the same standard applies to Israel for Stacey Garrity. And I think the answer we'll get is that it doesn't. On the off chance that somebody from Pennsylvania is watching this, Erin McClellan has committed to not sending Israel any more of our money, and I recommend voting for her for treasurer on the ballot this fall when you go, and not Stacey Garrity. Please repost and copy the link on this video so more people see it. And if you want to support me, I'm going to college.
All right. All I heard was anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism, anti-Semitism. I wasn't listening to the details. Because who cares about the details? All I heard was, anti-Semitism. You know, I would never say something like, today we are merely paying this people what it deserves, when the German nation was, thanks to the inflation instigated and carried through by Jews, deprived of the entire savings which had accumulated in years of honest work, when the rest of the world took away the German nation's foreign investments, when we were divested of the whole of our colonial possessions. These philanthropic considerations evidently carried little noticeable weight with democratic statesmen. I would never say such a thing. Oh man. The this whole thing of like buying $20 million worth of Israeli bonds, that basically assures that people now, you have a vested interest in supporting Israel. That was her move. That's what she did. She made it so that if you don't support Israel, if Israel loses and those bonds go down, you will suffer. It's the same as what's going on with the fucking... What's that idiot's name? He used to be he was running for vice president with Camel Toe, was his name. He came out speaking against Tesla, talking about how they wanted to drive the cost of Tesla shares down. Meanwhile, his state had invested millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars in Tesla shares. So it was literally, they're costing people their pensions with their actions. The left are out of control, out of touch morons. I can't, there's no, like, they thought they'd win the election because they'd get some celebrities and put it on the news. I gotta hand it to Trump. Just going with the whole podcast crowd is fucking brilliant. Now he's like having podcasts in his fucking thing. How about this bitch? This is weird. This is the woman who was upset. She was upset because she said, she says here, with a terrorist watching me 24/7, raping me with her eyes. But she was actually quite upset that they didn't rape her with their dicks, because she came away feeling ugly. And so a therapist told her to get a nose job. She was angry because they didn't rape her or give her candy. So this guy stepped up and did what he needed to do, and he raped her instead. Her Israeli trainer. Because if there's one thing Israelis are good at, it's raping. I like to rape. I don't give a fuck. I know it's not politically correct thing to say, but I like raping. Oh, man. Well, I'll get to the frog bottom thing in a minute, actually. But yeah, they're tracking everybody. You see, they kicked out, they deported a woman who was an American citizen. She was an American citizen, and they deported her, which is like...
They are tracking?
I think that, you know, she's not, you know, she wasn't born in America. She's like first generation, but she was a completely legal... She had all the rights to stay in America, But because she criticized Israel, they deported her, which, you know, kind of lets you know what's going on. Let's see what our man Nick has to say.
They are tracking everybody that criticizes Israel.
Oh, yeah. You're all on a list. Just watching this show has gotten you on a list.
Everybody that interacts with somebody that's criticizing Israel, and whether you're on a visa or not, whether you're a citizen or not, whether you're brown or not, Christian or Muslim, they're putting you in the Palantir database. They're putting you on the enemies list. You don't see a problem with that? A Muslim is being deported for criticizing Israel, and people go, that's fine. I'm going to support that enthusiastically because I'm not a Muslim on a visa. Okay, so do you not see where this is going to go? Surely, certainly, law enforcement and surveillance tools that were created to spy on Muslims have never been used against right-wingers. That's never happened. You're telling me that law enforcement and the intelligence agencies are going to bypass the Constitution and infringe on the civil liberties of Muslims in the name of terrorism, and you think they might eventually use that against right-wing extremists? That's preposterous. That has never happened before. Oh yeah, except that's exactly what happened after January 6th. That's exactly what happened during COVID. That's exactly what happened after Trump got elected the first time.
Yep. Yeah, so sorry guys, but we're all on a list together. We're all in this together. I don't know. We've all got to do something about this. It's ridiculous. I think that is a good call, Jake. Microwave chambers. Yep. So I've played that one before, but let's just jump over to this real quick because I'm not sure how many. I've got a few more, but that's my favorite video on the thing right now. All right, so this was fun. I said I'd talk about it a little bit. Okay, so yeah, so I just reposted this video and said taking personal responsibility is very liberating.
What's up, everyone? Happy Monday. And it's just another day to blame the Jews. Well, no, not really. See, look, I'm very tough on the Jews, but if you notice, I just called them out for what they're doing. I don't blame them for everything. I don't go, oh, it's their fault. They're the ones who made us watch porn. They're the ones who made us take out these loans. They're the ones who forced us into war. No, they duped us. They tricked us. We fell for it. Nobody forced us to do anything. Hey, no one forced me to join the Marine Corps. Nobody forced me. I saw the Twin Towers blow up, and I said, oh, I better do something. Now, the Jews blew it up. That's the trick. And they will use violence. They've assassinated people. They've done espionage. They blew up all sorts of stuff throughout history. They kill each other even. They'll even kill each other. These people are ruthless because they're demons. But I don't blame them for everything because it takes two to tango. Takes two to tango. Right? So if you have a drug problem, you have two things. You have drug addicts and drug dealers. Now, if the drug dealers weren't around, then the drugs weren't around, the addicts wouldn't have anything to do. But likewise, if no one was an addict and nobody wanted to do drugs, the drug dealers would have to go away. They wouldn't exist. So you can't blame the Jews for everything. And I don't blame the Jews for everything. If you go to my Substack, ourstruggle.pub is the URL. It's a very serious publication. I know here I troll, I make jokes, I even make fun of myself, and I make up psyops and all that crap. It's really funny. And the reason is because here, you can't be serious. My serious posts go nowhere. My anti-Semitic jokes, my stupid troll, they go over. There's 7 million views on a fake post about my wife it's not even her. It's not even her. People are falling for it. My wife never dated a black man, never would date one. And even her friends are falling for it. They're like texting her, like, oh my God, what happened? Are you okay? What is he doing? And so my wife's like, look, please, no more jokes. All right, fine, honey, no more jokes. So no more wife jokes, no more wife psyops. It's been done over now. The Jews fell for it twice, and it's funny, you know. But anyway, the point is, if you want more of my serious work, go to ourstruggle.pub. That's the URL. It's basically me writing exactly like Goebbels. I'm not joking. And it's very serious. There's no vulgarity. It's very clean. and it's very important work that I think you should read.
So that was Lucas Gage just having a bit of a, and that's I think it shows signs of great maturity in Lucas's journey, because you do get to that point where you start out just being furious at these people, but then you realize at some point, well, I have to take some responsibility too, and that's why I reposted. I said, taking personal responsibility is very liberating. Frogbottom said, would you give us all an example? I'm in need of ideas. Well, I would, but the Jews won't let me. Okay, in other news.
She's 25.
This is a really excellent...
You should cut that list out.
Your reputation is you like to text underage girls, sending pictures of your dangling. That's your reputation. Whatever you do, you can't do anything about it. Bill Clinton officiated your wedding with Puma, your wife, if I'm not mistaken. So
that's what you call an arranged marriage. That was an arranged marriage.
You've been very close. And
that's a marriage of convenience.
She was a right-hand person to Hillary Clinton in 2016 while the scandal was taking place.
For years before that, she was with Hillary for, she's 20 years.
Email, 650,000, one folder with the word life insurance. And
or maybe it's just because they have so much in common, like they both love terrorizing young girls.
Files that are in there. So 9 out of 12 cops, NYPD, who saw the email and saw what was in that laptop, you know, committed suicide. And the most ever that this took place, and these are the men that committed suicide. First thing I ask myself is, how the hell is Anthony Weiner still alive? Well, when you go through the list of people that have been close to Hillary Clinton and the Clintons, this is not a conspiracy. You got the names of James McDougal, died of an apparent heart attack. Mary Mahoney, a former White House intern, was murdered July 1997 at a Starbucks coffee shop. Victor Razor, you got Ed Woolley. It's 46 names.
He's just reading the article. He's reading a list of names.
So
he's just reading a list of names.
Doesn't even ask the question, it's a list.
The fact that you're getting nervous is an answer.
It's not
okay?
nervous. This stuff
Let
makes
me
me
wrap
sick
it.
when you repeat
Exactly,
these
makes us sick as
ridiculous.
well.
How about you pick one? Pick one and tell me who he was and what his story was.
Pull up Vince Foster if you want.
No, Vince Foster, that suicide has been investigated 50 times.
Can you let me ask the question?
No, listen, this is a conversation.
No.
We're having a conversation.
I'm sorry, I'm the host. You invite me to your podcast, you get to ask the question. I'm the host.
Listen, I'm
going to ask you the question. Your reaction is already an answer.
I know. I am infuriated by people who drag other people's names who are powerless. You're not powerless.
Hillary Clinton is powerless?
No, these people.
Hillary Clinton is powerless.
These people.
That's the problem.
These people.
Hillary's the problem.
You read a list of people because you have the power to do it. People who do that are bullies, and I don't appreciate bullies.
I have the power to do what?
You do. To read a list of some stranger's names.
Use the DOJ and other things to control and hide
That's not
things?
DOJ.
Yeah.
DOJ didn't make this list.
Let me finish up my question.
Some jackass made a list in his basement.
You have the right to
You're reading their
answer.
names as if they're incriminating in some way. Some conspiracy theory podcast, some conspiracy theory that 9 people read. You find some guy that comes in, and then you go from Ron Brown to some obscure officer that used to protect Bill Clinton, who passed away.
How is it that the reputation that follows them is people close to them die?
You
Pretty
should
dark
cut that
to take
list
the
out.
angle you did. You're
You should
exactly.
listen to me. You're talking conference now.
Oh, okay.
You should cut that list out of those
Sure,
people. We can still have the argument. You and I are big boys. Cut that list out.
I'm not going to be cutting that list.
That's a very good edit of that. Yeah, so Ye is being sued by a former employee for racism and anti-Semitism. This is hilarious. They're actually...
I am being subpoenaed.
They're subpoenaing Candace's text messages and looking for words that are racist. Like private conversations. Weena Baby is not a happy chappy. No, he's not. He's not. That's a great, like, I've got some guests coming up, but none of them are going to be, like, it's all stuff, it tends to be people we agree on stuff, or we just want to have interesting conversations. I'm hoping to get Axel back on as well, because, like, he's a great guest. He fucking, yeah, we're very much on the same page on a lot of things. But, yeah, I do need to organize a guest who I just vehemently disagree with so we can get into a screaming match.
For 5 years of text messages between myself and the artist formerly known as Kanye West.
Yeah, so she's been fuck. Let's just
I am being
yeah,
subpoenaed.
she's been subpoenaed.
For 5 years of text messages between myself and the artist formerly known as Kanye West in a lawsuit which has been filed by a former employee of his named Trevor Phillips. And the specific words and or messages, and by the way, 5 years is a long window. It's a very long time. We learned this in the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively lawsuit, okay? Like, it's a wide net. And they're like, well, we need to see if you have any messages that are pertaining to or contain the following words. I am not kidding. This is the real email that Noah then forwarded to me after our conversation. It says, we received the attached document subpoena in the Trevor Phillips versus Yeezy, blah, blah, blah. They are looking for the following subjects in any communication from the last 5 years, okay? The Jewish religion or people, Jews, anti-Semitism, black people, African Americans, Nazism, the N-word, and they're not clear on which word that is. There's a lot of N-words. Is it no? Is it
necrophilia?
Nice? Is it near? I don't know what word they're talking about. Lawsuits filed against Ye, Yeezy LLC, the Donda Academy. Lawyers who have filed suit against Ye, Yeezy LLC, the Donda Academy. Hitler, the swastika emblem, the Holocaust, and or the slurs, BITCHs, hose, and then the P word. P word, plural, too. So I call Noah, and I'm exasperated, okay? I say, what is this lawsuit about? Why am I being asked to do this task? This feels like a fishing expedition. And he tells me that there's this former employee of Kanye's who is a black man who is suing Kanye for racism against black people because he says that Kanye treated black people worse than he treated the white people. I'm just telling you guys what I was told, okay? And also, as one component of this lawsuit, this former employee is alleging that Kanye also used a lot of anti-Jewish rhetoric in his presence. Still unclear of why I would be drafted into this lawsuit. I've never been an employee of Kanye, an employer of Kanye. And I just want to read you guys, just so you understand how not real my life is, I just want to read you guys directly from this filing, just a little portion of what's going on here, okay? This is what Trevor Phillips has lived through. And the challenge that I'm going to give you guys right now is nobody's allowed to laugh at this because it's
That's going to be a problem.
This is a serious lawsuit that I'm being drafted into. This is what happened, according to Phillips. Phillips arrived to the exclusive and intimate Nobu Hotel in Malibu, California, around 9:40 p.m. The hotel staff greeted Phillips, asked him to wait in the lobby, and that Kanye was on his way. After about 20 minutes, Kanye appeared alone, wearing a black jacket and holding a black mask in his hand. It was the same outfit Kanye wore a day or two earlier during his interview with InfoWars conspiracist Alex Jones. The hotel staff escorted Phillips and Kanye to a small hotel room. Phillips, contemplating the strangeness of the circumstances, sat in a chair while Kanye opened the blinds out to the Pacific Ocean. Without a word said by either of them, Philip listened to the ocean waves while Kanye took his shoes off and sat on the bed. You're not going to believe what happens next. Suddenly, Ye grabbed the hotel phone and sternly told the operator, "I asked you to put on Batman. Come put on Batman now." Phillips remained quiet and baffled. A few moments later, the Nobu hotel staff arrived and they put on the Batman, starring Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz. Kanye lowered the volume to 0, and he and Phillips watched the movie in total silence. After a long and awkward silence, Kanye finally spoke again. Turning his attention back to Phillips, he began an unprovoked and bigoted rant attacking Jewish people, referencing the stereotype dating back to the Middle Ages that Jews are miserly, Kanye opined. These Jews are greedy. With sincerity, he professed, "I hate Jewish people." Rather than recognizing or repenting for his public remarks, he shifted blame on his misfortune to others. He said, quote, "Adidas did me wrong."
I think that's pretty fair. I think Adidas did do him wrong. I'm going to save that one for the close, I think, because that's just too good. Oh, boy. to start to wind this thing down, I think, because I've got a long drive tomorrow, and it's also my mother's birthday today, so I should go and sing happy birthday to her. But Tom, how are you, buddy? Nitro Breed in the house. Still loved your episode, man. That was a good episode. All right, so this I thought this made an interesting point.
We all know this is killing us, right? That was somebody receiving a missed text notification on their vacuum cleaner.
About that, you're on you're vacuuming, and your vacuum cleaner starts ringing.
And that is a reminder that the way we are being asked to live now is objectively insane. Like, do you kids understand that for all of human history, for hundreds of thousands of years, until like 25 years ago, nobody was expected to be on call 24 hours a day. In fact, if you go back and watch a movie just from my childhood, the 1980s, if they portray somebody as having a job that requires them to be in constant communication, which back then required exotic technology, that was always shown as being an ultra high stress job. These characters were always 5 minutes away from having a heart attack. It was universally understood that this was an incredibly high stress way to live.
Yeah, but look at the size of that phone.
Kids, you understand that when I was in college, if somebody left the house just to go eat at a restaurant, they were as far off the grid as if somebody...
Oh dear, I took that wrong. I thought she said he asked him to put a Batman suit on. Whoops. That's actually what I thought too when I first... That's what I actually, when I first saw the thing, I thought he wanted the whole staff dressed as Batman villains or something. He wanted to check in. I'm Batman. I'm here to check in.
Went to Mars today. You weren't going to talk to them until they got back home near their landline phone. And if you called and they didn't answer, that was totally normal and expected. When I was a teenager, there was no voicemail. When you called and they missed your call, there wasn't even a caller ID to tell them that you had called. When I was a child, I had multiple friends who did not have phones. And I don't mean they didn't have cell phones. I mean, they didn't have phones at all. The only way for me to speak
True that. Great minds.
to them was to physically go to their house. So the major change in life is not the existence of the technology that lets you contact anybody at any time. It is the social obligation to always be on hand to respond. To the point that if you don't instantly respond, that is considered some kind of misbehavior. It is a mystery that needs to be solved. Why is this person acting like this? Why is this person acting the way every single human being who has ever lived for the entire history of the species until 5 minutes ago? So now when you see that the innovation is what they call the screens everywhere vision, where they have now created a world where you can take a phone call on your washing machine, where they are trying to eliminate every last hiding place of your life, every moment when you could possibly not be on call. In fact, I don't even know if young people recognize the term on call, which was just slang for, hey, I can't relax or do anything fun. I have to stay near a phone. Like there's a crisis at my job, so I have to be on call tonight. I know that it's annoying when old people like me say, well, the reason you have anxiety is because of your phone. Like obviously you have legitimate reasons to be anxious, but I'm saying that on top of all that stuff, the additional requirement to be available for communication 24 hours a day, no matter what you're doing, is an incredible emotional and psychological burden to add on top of everything else.
It is. It's completely insane. I actually left my phone out here last night, like on purpose. Jake's waiting for his brain chip firmware upgrade. Me too, bro. Me too. Like, I mean, that's what we're all waiting for, really. I mean, the dream is to never get any peace, and you know, one day you'll wake up in the morning and all your dreams will have been ads. Like, did you catch that new Coke dream? I mean, that's basically that's what we want, isn't it? Like that's kind of the. Oh God, I loved it. I'm gonna save that one. I got a very special 29 seconds for the close. It's just, I don't know, man. Based Asian chicks, it's so funny. They're great. Anyway, let's wind this thing down. And I'll just say one more time, you know, all this anti-Semitism, like, I would never say something as outrageous as, today I can only assure these gentlemen that, thanks to the brutal education with which these democracies favoured us for 15 years, we are completely hardened to all the attacks of sentiment. After more than 800,000 children of the nation had died of hunger and undernourishment at the close of the war, we witnessed almost 1 million head of milking cows being driven away from us in accordance with the cruel paragraphs of dictate which the humane democratic apostles of the world forced upon us as a peace treaty. We witnessed over 1 million German prisoners of war being retained in confinement for no reason at all for a whole year after the war was ended. You know, Germany actually won World War I. I think I talked about that on the last one, actually. Like, they had all but won the war, and that's when they drafted the Balfour Declaration. Anyway, that's enough of that bit. I was just reading Hitler speeches, basically. I think I'll do a whole episode where I'm just going to find a bunch of Hitler speeches and just read Hitler speeches, because they're very inspiring. He was quite the orator. Anyway, this is probably my favorite thing that I saw on the internet today. I'm going to mix it up a bit. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you once again for joining. Love yous. Let's rise up and do something about this and take it all back.
I'm racist. You're racist? Yes. I hate things. I'm a nigger killer. I'm so sorry about that. But what? I love your girlfriend because your girlfriend is white people. I love her. What? Yes, that's true. I'm so sorry about that because Wait. I don't think you understand what you're saying. Do you speak English? Yes, I am racist. What? What the fuck? Bro, hell no.
Dabei der Blut ein Fleisch.